everyone, and welcome to the 19th episode of Slime Time, the official Dragon Quest Dragon's Den podcast. This is one of your hosts, Plattym3.
And this is Liamland, recording live in a closet in New Jersey. So get your jokes out now about me being in a closet. Or the closet. All right. Well, courage and wit have served thee well. Thou hast been promoted to the next podcast level.
Cool. Did we gain any stats there?
I don't know. We talked about porn on the last ballet episode last time, so I don't know. Maybe agility and strength.
Ooh, yeah. Let's go with that. Hey, maybe dodging your wife, your luck skill increased.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was like. Right when the porn story started, I was like, oh yeah, I saw Dragon Quest porn ballet one time, and right when I said that, she walked into the hallway where I was recording. It was to walk past me to get to the bathroom, and I like basically step over me as I'm telling you. I was like, Pornhub, yeah. So I went to the site once, and and thankfully she didn't hear me, or she would have completely busted my chops.
Yes, I would say your luck skill definitely increased on level up there.
Yeah. So in Quest of the Stars news, Part 2 of the Dragon Quest V event began recently. You get to choose to confess feelings for Bianca, Nira, or Deborah, the bride choices from Dragon Quest V, and then they join you as companions during battle. So far, from what I can tell, this doesn't mean that they battle with you, but they offer you additional treasure at the end of a battle sometimes. I chose Nira, and she says, I'll follow you anywhere as the battle stage begins. And then she sort of trails along after the battle party and comes out at the end with like some extra treasure sometimes. Other than that, I haven't really seen much advantage to that. It's funny, though, how Nira hangs out in my multiplayer tavern and sort of walks behind and in front of the characters as I wait for the players to join. Most of it is just game tie-ins, but there's some additional monster recruitment via the whistles that you can get when some of the defeated monsters join you. I had a funny conversation with Woodus recently where he was using the voice-to-text to chat with me, and he meant to say he'd gathered quite a few whistles, but the voice-to-text wrote assholes. So, gathering a few assholes in the game. I replied, there's quite a few assholes in this game. And, like Cyril the Squirrel. So you may know our next guest from his YouTube channel. He's been a regular on the Dragon Quest Builders group on Facebook that I often mention at least once every episode on this podcast. Or he's been in articles featuring his Dragon Quest Builders 2 build of the entire Link to the Past map. Joining us live at the time this was recorded from just outside Dusseldorf, Germany, we'd like to welcome BenXC to the party.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Oh, thanks for being there. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Did I butcher the pronunciation of Dusseldorf?
It was all right. It's a little bit German was in there.
Okay, good. Because I'm actually my last name is German. Kirsting.
Oh.
Yeah, so I do have German ancestry, but I've actually never been. My dad did a kind of a Find Your Roots tour in Germany, and he actually found a Kirsting with the same earlobes. So
a bit of German.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He only knows a little bit, so he had to have an interpreter. And he had tea. Him and my mom had like tea with one of our ancestors, or not ancestors, our relatives, distant relatives in Germany with the same earlobes.
And they all just sat around talking about earlobes.
Yes, that's probably all they could talk about.
To be a fly on that wall.
Yeah, it was. I'm sure it was an exciting conversation. But even just to be in Germany and have all the food and of course the beer.
Yeah, you like the food and the air.
Oh yeah, beer. The beer in Germany is supposed to be way more potent than the beer here.
Yes, it is. I can attest to that. my many nights out can also attest to that.
So
sure
the last...
Oh, go ahead, Platty.
I was going to say the last date I went on before I met my wife, I was on dating websites, and is actually a friend of a friend. She actually recognized me being in one of our common friends' pictures on Facebook, and we were both on eHarmony. And she messages me, "Oh yeah, let's go out or something." And I saw what city she was in, and I'm like, "Oh, there's a great German restaurant right there, beer house. Let's go." And she was just like, "Yeah, sure." When we get there, we sit down. She's ordering and everything. Find out she's vegetarian and doesn't drink beer.
Oh, and no beer.
No beer. I'm like, why are we here?
Yeah,
I mean, we have some stuff which is like mashed potatoes and stuff, so maybe it's fine for her.
Within 5 minutes of the date, you're like, oh, well, this is fun.
Yep. Literally had the first date with my wife the next day.
No?
So,
No? Is she only finding out now?
Yeah.
oh no, my wife laughs that she was girl A or B, I can't remember. I had to keep him. I'd been like online dating for 2 years, and if like I met someone, I would like pause communication and then go chit chat with, and I'd go on a few dates, see if it worked out. If not, then back to online. But like just finally it was like, okay, none of these are working out. Who cares? I'm gonna go on like 3 dates in a week. Screw it, I'll play the odds.
Yeah.
And like the second I say that, I got dates on back-to-back nights, and then meet my wife on the second one.
So also through Tinder, or what is the app called?
The one was called eHarmony.
eHarmony. Yeah, we don't have.
No, my gosh, it was a pain in the neck to get through that website. They build it as very professional. It was very expensive, and I think I had to answer like 280 questions to make my profile. It was ridiculously. Oh yeah. Nowadays, people just like put a picture on Tinder and you're swiping left or right. No, like this thing was locked down.
So like in How I Met Your Mother, where Ted wanted his 99% woman.
Uh-huh.
That's right. Wow. Yeah. My wife just finished up watching that series. It was her first time seeing it, of course. Got to that last doozy of an episode. But yeah, I do remember that moment. That's great.
I like the last episode, to be honest.
I haven't watched the alternative ending yet, but I was a little bummed that they didn't make older Ted Bob Saget, because he'd been narrating like the whole series. Did you watch it in English with subtitles or in English?
Completely in English with English subtitles, but with English subtitles.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
That's how I watch most of my shows I'm watching are with English subtitles.
Nice.
When that last season was airing, I was living with my wife and her brother, and he had been dating some girl here in Florida that had moved back to California at the time, and she just threw her name down for extras work, and she ended up sitting in the front row of one of the wedding scenes. Oh, who got married that way? From How I Met Your Mother, yeah.
So there was Barney's wedding.
Barney?
Yeah.
It was when Barney got married, yes.
Okay.
She's literally sitting in the front row, like we're like, oh my god, there's what's her name. They broke up like 5 years ago. I can't remember her name anymore.
My name is blah blah. Call me blah.
I mean, she might as well be. She was an uncredited extra just sitting in the crowd, and someone my brother-in-law dated 6 years ago, so who the hell knows?
All right, so today we're going to be talking... How's that for a transition? Today we're going to be talking about Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2. I know we were building towards this discussion, so let's get the build puns out now.
But before we do the game, let's get to know our guest a little bit. So, Ben, got a question for you. What's with your username BenXC? I see that on all your social media stuff.
Yeah, it somehow kind of happened, to be honest. So I had my first username. So my first username was BenXC, and that was only because the name Ben Cross was taken from AOL at the time. Yeah, I want to take that one. So then I tried Benny Cross, was also taken, of course. And so I just put an X in between because my last name in German is kind of has the meaning of cross.
Mm-hmm.
So I just made it a double cross, like X cross. So, but then, yeah. And then I tried to shorten it for YouTube so people can remember it better. And so I just removed, the Ross from Cross, and I shortened my first name a bit. That's why it's called BenXC. And also, I kind of found out you could use it for extra creative.
Well, looking at all your videos, you are definitely that. Liam and I have some pictures to share with you later. We got pretty creative last night, let me tell you, and we'll share our creativeness with you later.
Yeah, we did a castle build off, Platy and I. And we want you to be the judge to which one is far superior. Please be kind to Platy, because I know mine's just probably going to blow him out of the water.
I will also take a look.
Okay, cool.
All right. So I was checking out your YouTube channel, going through a bunch of stuff, and I went through by date, by order, and I noticed that before even Dragon Quest Builders 1 came out, you had a couple little things there, not much, but obviously Dragon Quest Builders 1, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is primarily what you upload there. How did you get started with YouTube, with streaming, and what is about the Builders games that really got you so hooked?
So how did I how did I get into YouTube? So I think the main reason for it is the YouTube function on the PlayStation 4, because there's like one button press and you can share it on YouTube, which was very, very good at that time. And yeah, I shared a few snippets of Destiny 2 and maybe Monster Hunter World and Horizon Zero Dawn. And I noticed, a few people liked it. They gave a few likes and thumbs up. And so I've got into Dragon Quest Builders 1. I visited the PSN store at one day, and there was a new demo, Dragon Quest Builders. And I'm like, looking at the screenshots, it kind of looks like Minecraft, but prettier. And with a story? Okay, let's test it. So I booted it up, played, and I think around 3 or 4 minutes in, I was like, I love this game. I will buy it. So the next day I went into the store, got it, and I started playing through the story and building in Terra Incognita, and it was awesome. And at one point, I almost finished my first build, which was the castle town, and I was kind of proud of it, to be honest. And so I thought, let's just share it online on YouTube, and let's see what people think. So I posted it, and it kind of blew up. So I had I think 10,000 views in a couple of weeks, and I was like, maybe I should do some more. And that's how I started getting into the YouTube rhythm.
Wow! Now, so you were on YouTube, but the way you started to really get into doing regular videos was through Builders.
Yeah, that was completely through Builders, and then also people came up with questions in the comments, and so I made videos about that, answering the questions they had, like making tips and tricks. And the thing was, can we already go to Dragon Quest Builders 2, or are we still at Dragon Quest Builders 1?
No, we can talk about Builders in general.
Okay, perfect. So. Then Dragon Quest Builders 2 came out in Japan, and as you guys know, the Dragon Quest Builder the Dragon Quest Builder games always come out like 9 months prior in Japan, and that was a huge plus, because this way I could get used to Dragon Quest Builders 2 9 months and build up a whole portfolio of videos. And once it came out, all my videos got massive views and stuff, and that was awesome. So, and especially at the point where Dragon Quest Builders 2 came out in the West, I knew exactly what kind of videos to make and stuff, and I really liked that. So people responded very positively on it.
Great. I will say, I think it was a year ago, Liam kept, we've got little group chats going with some Dragon Quest fans from the website we all met through. And yeah, Liam has sent us some of your builds, and like, oh my god, look at what this guy's doing. Liam's like, I'm working all day, and I got to play with my kid all night, and I can't even play Dragon Quest 2 Builders 2 like a couple of you guys. But look at this.
Yeah, I mean, but at least I can watch it.
Yeah, and we're all messaging him back like, hey Liam, man, we're not doing that kind of stuff in the game. So.
Oh yeah. So the Builders 1, I played the hell out of that. That came out. What was that? 2016 or? I feel like
I think for PlayStation 3 and PS Vita, I believe.
And
it is. I played it on
PS4. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was before my son was born, so I had time to play that one. And then 2 came out when he was an infant, and I think it might have come out. Was that 2017? When did Builders 2 come out?
Builders 2 was just last summer.
Was it last summer? Really? All right.
Builders 2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was
December 20th. December 20th, 2018. It came out in Japan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so 2018. So then it would have been 2019. So yeah, at that point, we were living at my parents' place in New York, and so I was basically just like taking care of my kid and didn't have a lot of time to play 2 as much as I wanted to. And I also had like a 2-hour commute to work, which was terrible. But anyway, it's the game that I wanted to play more of because there was so many more things that you could do in Builders 2 than you could in 1.
Very much so. So
yeah, definitely.
Ben, I see you stream now too. Did that come after the YouTube videos? Did you start streaming later?
The main reason for that is I now got a PC which can stream. The other one was too slow, so that's why I could never stream. And I also have a fan, or like almost a friend. No, although you can also call her a friend. It's Yuri or Yurima Plays, and she's doing streams on Twitch, and I often watched her, and that's where I was like, maybe I should try that too. But I need to wait until I have a better PC. And then once I had my better PC, I tried it for a bit.
Nice.
Great. Was that with Builders 2 on Twitch?
Yeah, with Builders 2, I did a few streams, also kind of more on the desktop side, on the PC, where I showed some models. And yeah, you guys maybe know about the debug version of Dragon Quest Builders 2 on PC. And there I showed a few tricks, what the developers implemented into the game, and showed everything off.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that video.
Yeah, there are quite a few hidden things. You can alter the way it renders, the render distance, and stuff like that.
Oh, that's specifically with the PC version, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, I've seen quite a few things that people have been doing to kind of like pull out 3D models from games, particularly Dragon Quest 11. But I've seen some things as well with Builders to just pull out like the characters so you can get a 3D modeling of it. Some people then like 3D print characters into small figurines, which is pretty amazing too. I wish I had the tech to do that, but
yeah. I have a few of them.
Wish I did too.
Yeah, Platy, you had access to that through your school?
Yeah, I want to say like 2.5 years ago, I was teaching in the room right next to the IT department, and the 4 guys there were like so excited that they got all these 3D printers in, and since I just kind of hung out in their hallway all the time between classes, they were like, hey, do you need anything printed? And I remember it was right around then that Woodus, who runs this website that we're on, Ben, he had played through Dragon Quest 11 when it came out in Japan. He imported it, and he like had it hooked up to his PC with Google Translate live on his TV, so he could kind of get an idea of what it was saying. Kind of, stumble his way through the main story of the game. And at the time too, he like started pulling assets from it, and he got some 3D renderings. And so I've got like a golem from there. I do have the platinum jewel slime, and I think there's one or two others that he pulled the file right off the PS4 version, and I had them print out. So there's a bunch in my classroom that I got, maybe about 4 or 5.
And they're still, you still got them, the models?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're in my classroom. I haven't
Did
seen
you
them in
also
2 months.
paint them?
I did not. No, I mean I did.
Me neither.
Yeah, I've got a lovely, bright orange golem. I think I've got like a neon orange, what is it, dragon slime with the wings, and a regular slime that are both really neon orange. I definitely think the IT guys were like, well, this is a thread and a color we're not going to use for anybody else. Hey, Matt wants something.
Nice.
He wants to test this out. We'll give him the junkiest colors there are.
Sweet.
Well, if you print a she slime, the orange color is perfect.
Yeah, see, I didn't even think of that. Like, yeah, I hold up the slime, and I would tell people, like, oh, this is a slime. I should introduce it as a she slime.
Yeah.
So,
Easy money.
have you tried any other Dragon Quest games?
Well, I've tried Dragon Quest XI, but honestly, I must say I wasn't too fond of it. I mean, I really like the art style and the way they did that game, but you notice a few hiccups when you play that game. So when you go into houses and stuff, everything keeps repeating itself. So they just reused every asset in the game for everything. And also the story was kind of, I don't know what's the word. The story was very slow in the beginning, and that's where I kind of jumped off then. So I was at the point where you've got the little girl, and you went through a portal.
Okay. Veronica.
Went portal, and then you were in a different location, and that's where I stopped.
Gotcha. All right, so like right before Hato.
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Actually, if you picked up Veronica, I think you've been to Hato already.
And then right after Hato.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean it's not for everyone. A lot of folks looked at 11 and I've just seen like best RPG of the decade and all this stuff, but I've also seen some criticisms of it as well. So it's not for everybody, but yeah, I was a big fan of that one for its characterization, and just like the amount of interesting story that I think they plug in, because it does get better as it goes along, and like particularly there's 3 different acts, and the first one ends really dark, and then. And then you have to kind of like the second one ends dark as well, and then you have to kind of like if you want to keep playing, you can fix problems that kind of cropped up in the beginning, which is pretty cool. So like in this case, there's a lot of reward for what's the bonus content at the end, which would be like all of Act 3.
So you can totally recommend that game to keep playing.
Yeah, I think if you stick with it, there's a lot of other characters that I don't think you've gotten to yet that make it pretty interesting. And the way it feels, it does start off a little slow, but the way it feels to me, it's kind of like a really good hybrid between like Dragon Quest and Dungeons and Dragons, with like all these different twists and turns, like plot twists and things that kind of crop up.
Yeah, I think the term a lot is it's a slow burn. You definitely 20 hours in. You start feeling it a little bit more than 2 or 3 or 4, but
okay. Yeah. And 7 is like that too. Dragon Quest 7. If you like, there's so much puzzles and stuff in the beginning of that one that it takes like close to 2 hours to get to the first battle. So like you don't even see the first blue slime. You don't even fight in the game until you've like solved a bunch of puzzles in the beginning for like 2 hours.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I'll give it another go.
It's a good one to stream too.
Yeah, but I think those slower games like turn-based combat RPGs.
Yeah.
I don't know if people would like to watch that because it's very
maybe more for the plot and less for the grinding.
Yeah. I mean, you should take out all the battles and then maybe you can put them on.
Right. Or just do minimal battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more of a YouTube video that you edit down than a live Twitch stream.
Right.
Or you escape every battle.
Live grinding for like 3 hours.
You escape every battle during the stream, and then people will be fine.
Well, then you'll always get that one guy who's like, "Hey, I signed in just to see the grinding."
No.
Yeah. There will always be that one
Not
guy.
enough grinding.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of streaming, what have you been streaming lately? I know it's been a year since Dragon Quest Builders 2 came out, so are you still doing that, or you moved on to a couple other games?
Yeah, I still got Dragon Quest Builders 2 in the back of my head, so I still have a few things I want to do with the Link to the Past build in there. So like the connection between the Hyrule Castle and the Cathedral, I want to finish that. And I already finished the inside of the Hyrule Castle, and I think I already uploaded it, so people can take a look at it from the inside.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, we're going to definitely talk about that build. I think that by far that's your most popular build there on YouTube. And
Yeah, it blew up.
In terms of size, too, it's your biggest build, right?
Yeah, also.
Yeah.
It's too
Well,
quite
good. Rightfully so. I think
interestingly, yeah.
I was going to say it would be a little bit disappointing if you spent, those 150 plus hours on that, and some little house that you spent 2 hours on suddenly got all the views compared to that. So
sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens.
I haven't explored much of the multiplayer in this. Is it possible for us to hop into your Link to the Past map and and just hang out or fight monsters in it?
I don't think in multiplayer, unfortunately. They only made it like you can join an island single player.
But that's a limited amount of space, right?
Yeah, if it were your own island, your own Buildertopia, then you could take a friend with you. So I could take 3 people with me. So if you join me, I could take you with me, and we can go there.
Oh, cool.
It's an offer.
Well, if I ever figure out the multiplayer and have time to do that.
Yeah.
I feel that's like a Willy Wonka thing. Come to my factory. Come see.
Yeah. I got chocolate.
Yeah. Well, as long as I'm not the kid that gets stuck in the tube.
Yeah. The interesting part about the Hyrule build is this is my 3rd time building it, which not many people know. I've built it the first time in Dragon Quest Builders 1, but there wasn't enough space to build the whole island of Hyrule, and it also wasn't high enough. So you only had a height of 30 blocks, and the Hyrule map itself is 100 blocks in height.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I restarted it in Dragon Quest Builders 2 in the Japanese version. But at one point I stopped because I don't know why I stopped. Let me think. I think there were some other projects I had to attend to, and then it just kind of was at the side. And then when Dragon Quest Builders 2 in the West released, I copied over every part of the map from the Japanese build and put it on an island in Dragon Quest Builders 2, the English version. So I could also give the signs text on it in English, not in Japanese.
How did you copy it over?
With the builder pencil. You have this builder pencil, and there you can copy over some little chunks of it
from one game to the other.
Yeah, but you have to collect all the materials and
okay. Oh, interesting.
So I could visit my own Japanese island with a code I had. So I just typed it in the English version, visited it, and then I took 4 blueprints out of that map, put it over to the other map, and let my villagers build everything.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
But it took a long time.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. All right, we're going to talk about more of that in a couple minutes. We'll talk a little bit about Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2 in general, just for a couple minutes, get our opinions on the games. We won't go too in-depth. We never really do dive too deep, and these aren't ones that really need deep dives into the plot, because both of them they're what-if games. I mean, they're sandbox games. That's really the whole fun behind these games, but they both did have some plot. They were what-if games based around the original Dragon Quest 1 and 2. The first game if you ever played it back in the NES days, or since then it's been on Super Nintendo, mobile, it's everywhere. You can get it on your Switch now, the original Dragon Quest game. When you go to fight the Dragon Lord at the end, he gives you a choice. He's like, hey, do you just want to join me? Like, I mean, you've been battling all these guys to get up to me. Do you just want to join me and we'll rule the world and split it?
Yeah, it's
and
pretty
you can
much
actually
like
pick...
Darth Vader. Join me
Yeah.
and together we can rule the galaxy.
But if you say yes there, it's obviously not the right choice. But if you say yes, you kind of get a bad ending. It just don't. Well,
I've never
they
said
took
anything.
they took that idea and they turned it into Dragon Quest Builders 1. Dragon Quest Builders 1 is a world where the bad ending happened and everything got wiped off and people don't build. They just live in little huts and whatever they can find around the world. They don't build. And you're revived and you build the world back up and you take on the Dragon Lord eventually, and there's that. Dragon Quest Builders 2 kind of went with a long time after the events of Dragon Quest Builders, or Dragon Quest 2. Geez, these games' names are so similar. Keep getting it mixed up. But, in Dragon Quest 2, you're always trying to defeat Hargon, this evil wizard, and then when you do defeat him, out of nowhere, kind of, Malroth, the master of evil and destruction, shows up and you battle him too, and boom, you beat Dragon Quest 2. Well, for Builders 2, they went with that again, and it has been years since the events that took place, and there's this society, oh gosh, I can't remember, what are they, like the Friends of Hargon or Hargon's minions or something, are starting to... I can't remember the term.
Yeah, it's like a cult of Hargon, basically. I can't remember it either.
Yeah, something.
And yeah, that's the main antagonist throughout the whole game. The monsters are doing this to help out Hargon, and right away you find this little human guy named Malroth on the beach, and you adventure together through the game, building, and Malroth's mainly there to fight. And again, it comes to a pretty cool conclusion that kind of mirrors a little bit what goes on in the original Dragon Quest 2. So, I mean, the plots are pretty cool. The plots are there. It's not just a sandbox game, but obviously the building is what these games were intended for. They're not visual novels by any stretch of the sense. You get a little nostalgia through the story, but mainly you're there to build. So we'll start with just Dragon Quest Heroes 1, talk about that for a couple minutes, and the other one, then we'll get into some comparisons and then talk more about Ben's builds. But Ben, what was your first impression of Heroes 1? I know you said that a little bit, and you played it on PS4, right?
Heroes 1 or Builders 1?
Oh, sorry, Builders 1. I wrote Heroes in here, even in the show notes. Builders! I know what I'm talking about. In my head, I do.
Builders 1. The story parts of Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2, let's only talk about 1 now, they're okay. So it's not the best story you'll ever find in a game, but the way they set it up with all the building in between, it will really keep you hooked, and you will have fun along the way. So I can totally recommend it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of nostalgia going on as well in terms of like the plot, and all the references are to older games. The music are orchestral versions of all the old 8-bit Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest games. You can find the music in Builders 1.
Unfortunately, I haven't played Dragon 1.
I understand that's something you may not have picked up on, but I wanted to point that out, that in addition to what players take from the plot, there is also those kind of Easter eggs kind of hidden throughout the game.
Mm-hmm. And Liam, what did you play? Because you beat Dragon Quest Builders 1, right, Liam?
Yes, yeah. It was a fun final battle, actually. I played it on PS4. Ben, what platform did you play it on?
Yeah, I also played it on PS4.
How about you, Plattym?
And well, when it first came out, I got it on PS4. Obviously, had it pre-ordered, had it, and I'll be honest, I played it probably 6 hours in 3 2-hour stretches, And then it just, I don't know what else came out around that time or what it was. It's hard for me to get on my PS4 more. Liam, you've got one kid, you got a second one on the way.
Yeah,
By the time this
in a
came
month.
out, I had to, and it was hard to like sit in front of a PlayStation 4. And my PS4 is in the bedroom, so if I want to play at night after they go to bed, like it's on the TV in there, and my wife's like, "Hey, I'm trying to do this or go to sleep or whatever." So it's a little challenging to play something on the PS4. And honestly, it just got set aside for a couple years. And it wasn't until last summer that I was like, oh my gosh, the second one's coming out. I can't be a Dragon Quest fan and not have completed the first one. So what's funny is, I guess maybe a half year after it came out, Samantha, she's on Michi on. She works now for Square Enix. Well, she had some game codes to give away on Twitter. And she said, hey, write a story about why you love Dragon Quest, and I'll hand out free game codes. Well, I was like, well, I don't need a game code. I already have Dragon Quest Builders, but what the heck? And I wrote a little bit about how, and I've talked about this in the podcast before, my grandmother bought me the Nintendo Power subscription, and in 1990, 89, whatever, it came with the free Dragon Quest game. And so, like, I always joke that my grandmother got me into role-playing games and Dragon Quest specifically. And, I mean, 144 characters or less that was on Twitter back then, 3 years ago. Like, I kind of conveyed that. And she messaged me a couple days later. She's like, congratulations. Yours was one of the coolest stories. Do you want a code for PS4 or Vita? And I was like, I'll take one for Vita, which I didn't even have at the time, but I went out and picked up a cheap one. And then last summer, we went away on vacation to my parents' place up in the mountains, and they ended up not being able to join us for like a week and a half. So I ended up plowing through the entire Dragon Quest Builders in about 10 days, playing like 4 hours a night on my Vita, and had a blast. I think I completed it about 2 weeks before Builders 2 came out, and then sunk, another 75 hours, 80 hours into Builders 2 on the Switch later. So it worked well on the Vita. I liked it on the Vita.
So the vacation was interesting, it seems.
The vacation, yeah. we went hiking all day, and I'd come home and take a little nap, and my wife and I would watch a movie with the kids, and the second they went to bed, I'd be like, yeah, Vita time for 4 hours till 2 a.m.
I just imagine you like hiking, but you're like looking down, playing the Vita as you're walking through.
So no, yeah, I enjoyed it. Even though I just played it last year, it clicked. I don't know, it didn't click on the PS4 mainly because by that time I couldn't get to the PS4 as much. But I did enjoy it.
Yeah, and I love the music in it as well. I mean, I listened to a lot of the orchestral soundtracks, and when I hear that now, it reminds me, it reminds me of Heroes. It reminds me of Builders, because we're at the point now where the games are starting to actually use orchestral music. I know we didn't get that for 11 until the Switch version, but yeah, it's pretty amazing how far the games have advanced.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you guys. What do you think, if you played through Dragon Quest Builders 2 and then didn't play Dragon Quest Builders 1, do you think you would enjoy Dragon Quest Builders 1 as much?
I would say definitely not.
Yeah,
I think there were way too many improvements. Well, shouldn't be too many improvements, but there were too many improvements to go backwards and have that same level of enjoyment.
Yep. I mean, even just building materials alone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, let's hope they'll make as many improvements for Dragon Quest Builders 3 if it comes out at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, we've actually long speculated what that could possibly be like. I mean, they'd have to... The first two games were sequential, and then the third game in the series was a prequel. Sorry for spoiling that for anyone who hasn't played it, but
right?
Yeah, sorry, spoiler alert. Unhear that. But so they would have to probably do something like something that retrofits it back to Dragon Quest 3 if they're doing that alignment. So I don't know how that would work, but it would be interesting.
I mean, they could do something like 500 years ago there was Erdrick, and now you're in the present.
Yeah. Well, did we get an answer from Square Enix or not if this was actually the same timeline between 1 and 2. I don't know that it is.
I think the game explained it. I think the way the game explained it is the hairy hermit, although it's a bit spoilery, so don't listen right now. The hairy hermit is the builder of Dragon Quest Builders 1.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. That
right. Does ring a bell.
Yeah,
okay.
He kind of explained it in the end.
Because
so basically, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is a continuation of Dragon Quest Builders 1, which is an alternate timeline from the original games.
Right.
Yes.
But then how do we then get back to the prequel of Dragon Quest Builders 3?
I'm sure they could come up with some plot device.
They definitely
going back in time.
I mean, I was going to say, the first Dragon Quest Builders game, the world got completely destroyed. So you can set that 500 years before and do whatever. You can have flying cars and whatever.
Yeah, a wizard.
Oh, why wasn't that in Builders 1? Oh,
yeah,
got destroyed.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
If you could have the Bashmobile, where's the Bashmobile in Dragon Quest? In Dragon Quest 1.
You got the buggy in Dragon Quest Builders 2.
So it was actually to the advantage to have the world destroyed so we could get more advancements in science like the Bashmobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no such things in the original games.
Right. And there's an even more souped up version. Like you get like a full on car. I saw that parked at your Simpsons house.
Yes.
Which we'll talk about later.
I really do hope they'll make a Dragon Quest Builders 3 because right now they are working on a different game. We don't know what it is right now, but let's hope. Maybe it's another Builders game, but not with the Dragon Quest IP.
Right.
I don't know.
So DQ2 was pretty much, it was easier to build in. We had more options and everything. How long does it take you typically from start to finish to build a project?
To be honest, the most time-consuming process is thinking of the build. Before I start a build, I already make a plan in my head. Or maybe I'll take a sheet of paper and draw a bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and once I have finished that, I will start building. So let's say I'm lying in my bed at night and I'm thinking, wait, how can I do that and that? And then once I start building, it often only takes like, it depends on the build, of course. So let's say a house, like the log cabin I've made. It took me around 1 hour. But the thought process behind it is like 4 to 5 or 6 hours.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I usually just place a block and just look at it and be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, sometimes I also do that. But if I want to do something
that seems
like
pretty good. If not, I'll just smack it with a hammer. And...
Yeah, if I want to do something impressive, I always try to think about it beforehand.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. Now, you did something that I did as well, and you built your childhood house.
Yes, somehow. I had a big house when I was a child, and I've built something which kind of resembles it, but is also an improvement of it.
Okay.
Like with the bat cave where you can park your car. Just like that.
Yeah, I actually ended up doing that in Builders 1 in the very first map, which is, I think, Cantlin. I was procrastinating on defeating the golem and going to the next chapter because I knew I'd read that I was gonna lose all my materials and everything. So I just built a giant dirt version of my house that I was actually in at the time I was building it. So it was easy to just like walk down the hall to see that this is what this room looks like, and then so I can build it. But yeah, I'd seen a couple of people actually after a couple of years for the game being out. I saw a couple of people building their own versions of their houses. I think it's definitely a nostalgia thing because most likely you're not going to live in your childhood home forever at some point, and it's kind of cool to have that in-game model of it, so you can kind of go back and hang out there in the game.
Yes.
That's you guys are saying this, and it's pretty funny because just last weekend I was driving around my old hometown, and I took the kids past my childhood home, and I grew up next door to my great grandfather, and seeing how those two houses look right now, like it was almost unrecognizable. Like from the street, I was like, "Wow, I don't recognize the yards. I don't recognize somebody had built onto my great grandfather's house, I guess." And looking at how small everything looked too, I'm like, man, I feel like I used to play football in those front yards with my friends, and I don't even know if I could put my car there now.
Yeah, I've also seen my old childhood house, I think a few weeks ago, and they added so much stuff like wooden panels everywhere and some more windows in the roof. But it's kind of nice. I would have also liked it at that point.
Our house, because I grew up on the beach, like literally my backyard was water. It wasn't the beach; it was kind of the water was kind of an internet in a canal, kind of, not the actual beach, but we could walk to the beach in 3 minutes. So that house is now a vacation rental, and I want to like look it up and be like, man, how much would it be to rent this house for the weekend? go stay in my childhood house for the weekend.
That's cool.
Be a little weird.
You have to pay to stay in your own home.
Yeah. It would be especially weird if they didn't Airbnb it. You just showed up.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get a discount nowadays. I mean, nobody's traveling with the coronavirus and whatever. Maybe I can swing a little discount.
Yeah, people are also welcoming to complete strangers during coronavirus.
Well, he's not a stranger. He owned that house.
I'm not a stranger.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you go.
I was there for 17 years. The
Just
house
tell
knows
them-
me. It's okay. It's good. The house
Tell
knows
Tell them
me.
you're the ghost of that comes with the house.
But I'm sure they will ask for proof. Do you have proof that you lived there?
Yeah, man. That was before digital photography. It might be hard to find all those photos somewhere. And then that house looks nothing like it does now. They'll be like, that's not this house.
Yeah.
I do wish, though, like several times while playing these games, I've wished, like, oh man, I wish I could just build like this, you know, just take materials out of a bag and just put them down wherever. Put blocks in the sky. You can tilt the camera up, or that you can like build up in the sky and just like place blocks defying the laws of physics and just put blocks in the air. I loved building platforms too, because the monsters attacking your town will spawn on top of the platform if you build it above the town. I did that in chapter 2. You just build a giant platform and then build a ladder, or you can look down and jump and stack. And when you do that, you just kind of build up until you get to the point where you can't build any higher, and you can jump up to your platform, and there's like a bunch of walking corpses and mummies trying to attack your town, but they can't attack it because they're on a giant platform. You just kill them and collect all the materials. Or the first game, I built that a moat, and I think Platy, you may have done this too. You build a moat around in that first chapter around your town, and just put spikes on it. So when the monsters come to attack your town, the AI, they just like fall into the pit and walk around on the spikes when they die, and then you hear them, the death throes or whatever, the little noise when the monster dies. And you just kind of run around and collect all the materials.
Oh, I tell you, the one I remember the most was from Dragon Quest Builders 1. I did that in the desert town, so chapter 3, I think it is. That one was so much more battle focused.
Oh yeah, the one with the cannons.
Yes. Oh yes,
Yeah,
that's
and
what I would do.
Batmobile.
Yep. I would basically, I had holes all around my town where I just kept cannoning, and all the enemies would keep falling into there, and I would just keep shooting that cannon.
Me too.
Oh, that's right. I remember all the holes in the map that the cannons would create too.
Oh yes.
I know you had problems finding medicinal shrubs or something, so most people stop playing the game at chapter 3. It's too hard. I can't.
Oh yeah. It's hard to find food in the beginning of chapter 3.
Although I really liked it. It's like
and 4.
Like there's one island in Zelda Breath of the Wild where you start from scratch again, and you need to find everything. So you need to build up your character again. So I like that they do that in those games.
Yeah,
And
I always like
especially-
that too in like the Metroid games, where you start off, it's a sequel, like Super Metroid or Metroid Prime. You start off with all your equipment, and then something happens, and you lose all your equipment. You have to get it again.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have said that that's one of my favorite parts of Dragon Quest games are like the first couple hours. I mean, it's awesome later to have 75 abilities and 4 party members and be switching people in and out, but yeah, the very simple beginnings of games when every single medicinal herb, you got to think about it before you use it.
Yeah, right.
You don't have, you got to be like, oh man, is this a situation I should actually use one, or should I just go run home and go to sleep for a bit?
Yeah, like in Resident
Evil
or something.
What? Sorry, what was that?
Like in Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Oh yeah, those are tough games. I've tried several times to get into them, but frustration builds when they spawn on me.
Maybe you should try with Resident Evil 2.
Maybe. I've tried the first one and the fourth one.
But
the fourth one was really cool in the beginning, but then you get to that town in like the third board or whatever, and you step on it. You tread lightly, and then if you're seen, they swarm. It's good. I had that for GameCube. I want to try that again. But I've played through it a couple of times, I've tried to play past that part, and yeah, I'm not the one to take with you in the zombie apocalypse. The one making all the noise and drawing the horde.
Be patient for a bit. They're working on Resident Evil 4 right now, the remake.
Oh, nice. Yeah, maybe I'll give that a shot. Is it coming from PS4?
Maybe also for PS5. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Oh, I can die on the new gen console.
Yes.
All right. So, getting back to the materials, do you have an actual favorite material to build?
A favorite material to build? I really like those wooden hard block. Are they called hard blocks? The wooden ones. I don't know the exact name. Wait, let's think a bit. I think they're called wooden hard blocks.
Okay. Yeah, they're the ones you get from building like the tree wood, basically.
Yeah, I think so. Wait, let me open up my browser. I want to know the exact name of this block.
I liked in Dragon Quest Builders 2. I really liked the light cubes. The cubes that were lights. Those were fun, and of course you could make them all the different colors. But
I like that you could make a sauna. You could play more with water in this one. You had water blocks and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't. I think you just drowned in the first one, or you could accidentally in the first one. You could accidentally
flood things.
Yeah, you could flood your entire town if you were doing something like building an onsen or a sauna, and you got too deep or too close to the water outside the town. It would just flood the entire thing, and then you're basically screwed. You'd have to put blocks over the water, and it's always there underneath.
Oh, I got it. Hardwood tile.
Oh, cool.
Those are my favorite ones. What are yours?
I liked anything that was too hard for the monsters to break through.
That's why you like them.
Yeah, to fortify. Of course, I love the spikes, and I love like the little trap things you could do, like the fire breathing statues. And then you had this one build that was like spikes and the fire breathing statues to like you put it right in front of the door of your castle, so when the monsters try to come in, they just get spiked and roasted simultaneously.
Yeah, that's why I loved Dragon Quest Builders 1, Terra Gladiatoria, so much. So you could experiment a bit with it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they didn't include it in Dragon Quest Builders 2.
Oh, they don't have those fire-breathing statues in 2?
Well, they have them, but you don't have any use for them, unfortunately. But they had something planned, which is called the Battle Atoll, and I also made a video about that and showed it off a bit. So it's like cut content.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I also like those statues for when you had to take down a dragon. Because you're told at the very beginning of these games that, hey, you're not a hero, and you can sort of you're just a builder. You're not a fighter. So you can sort of tell that by how weak your character is, particularly because I spend half the time in 2 just letting Malroth do the fighting for me and just trying to avoid enemy attacks and things, because anything my builder does to attack is relatively weak. It is kind of interesting they split the weapons versus the building tools in this one. So the building tools don't do much attack damage now, but you have a secondary weapon. And
only for the stone enemies. The stone enemies get some more damage.
Nice.
So have we come to the time we're going to have Ben judge our builds?
Yeah, I think we have to do this contest. So.
If you're listening on a podcast later on, we will have these tweeted out from our Dragon Quest Slime Time, and maybe you can vote on who did better, Liam or I.
Yeah, we'll tweet these out, but we'll also we'll put them in the YouTube version as well, so you can see the visuals on that.
I was going to say, yes, if you're listening on YouTube, Mr. Woodus has you're probably already looking at them.
Yeah. And if this is Anchor FM or iTunes, Spotify, we'll try to include it somehow in the show notes. Okay, so don't worry, these awkward pauses will get deleted later.
Yeah.
Okay, Platy, do you want to? I'm in the Skype chat. If you want to paste yours, I'll get mine.
Put yours. I got mine loaded up on the phone, ready to just hit send.
Oh, all right. Hold on. All right, so we're doing them 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
So wait, where do I see them?
So if you look at the Skype chat, do you have access to the chat right now?
No, I'm only on the screen right now where we are talking. If I push the back button, will I get kicked out?
That may not be good. You know what? We could just send it to him through the Facebook Messenger.
Oh yeah, let's do the Facebook.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I actually sent a couple of photos that I wanted to talk about later on. Some Luigi's Bar photos for a Dragon Quest Builders event in there, but I'll talk about that later. All right, so I'm in here. Platy, you want to go first?
Boom.
So I'm not looking yet.
All right.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead and look.
Okay, let's look. Wait, I'll be the judge of your builds. So
like I said, try to be kind to Platy.
I like the pillars in the corners.
Oh yes, that's what sets it apart from Liam's piece of crap.
And it even got a bed and some light source. So
I went fancy with the sconce.
Yeah. And the second one, is a bit smaller, I must say.
Yeah, I call it Dragon Quest Minimalist.
This would be the perfect Lulutopia for Lulu.
Oh, stinking Lulu.
Yeah, I'm building this last night, and you see the giant slug in the background, and they're spitting at me from like 30 feet away while I'm trying to build it. And then I was like, oh, let me test the bed out. And so my builder's sleeping, and they're still getting spit thrown at me while I'm sleeping, and the spit's going through the walls. So
they got good accuracy.
Yeah. Somehow their spit is hitting me through the walls and waking my character up. So I should probably double the thickness of the walls next time.
No sleep for you.
Yeah, right. That's another cool thing, because in Builders 1 you had the ghosts that would follow you around at night, and they were super annoying because they took a lot of damage to defeat them, and they are just they're stalking you basically whenever it's nighttime. They just come up and try to attack you, and they're super annoying. So I would build little forts here and there, and just to sleep in, to turn the night into day, so that they wouldn't be around anymore. But in this one, it's like enemies can still attack you while you're sleeping, and I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a pretty cool addition.
Although light sources help, especially against ghosts and stuff like that, so they will run in fear when they go in a light source.
Oh, cool. In 2. Right? I don't remember that from 1. Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
that helps.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is, Ben, we've mentioned this on the podcast a few times, and Liam alluded to it earlier. I want to say, at least on like the first 10 or 15 episodes of our podcast, we never have talked Dragon Quest Builders for more than or two before, but Liam somehow always manages to work in what he's seen recently on the Dragon Quest Builders Facebook group. We'll be talking about something completely random, and then he's like, "Oh man, did you see what the builders who posted in the builders group and this and this?" So we've always talked about it, and we've always said, both of us, the best we can do are dirt castles. So that's why that's why I had the 4 turrets.
There are quite a few amazing designers on that builders group, and here we are making our crappy dirt castles.
But the most important thing is you have to have patience and time. If you have those two things, then your builds will always look amazing.
Yeah, I have patience but no time.
Yeah.
I've got more time but no patience.
Only we could combine our skills.
Well, that could be dangerous.
Some time.
I was going to say we might just end up with no patience and no time.
Yeah. All right. So Ben, what's the verdict on this one? Whose castle are you running to? And if the monster hordes attack?
Yeah, like I said, the one with the towers.
Yeah.
It has a light source.
I got a bed in mind. You just can't see it because the door is covering it.
Yeah, but it will be a perfect build for Lulu.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment.
Oh, all right. So we want to get back to talking about all the cool things that you built. So, of course, your biggest one was A Link to the Past, which you said now you've kind of done in parts at least 3 times. So, what about the total time do you think you've put into that? And I know I'll let you say it, but like, how many bricks do you think you've had to lay, or have people lay down for you in the game to do that?
Well, all 3 together combined.
Sure.
Well, okay.
Either way.
All 3.
Whatever.
I think. Yeah. Okay. I think all 3 together combined are around 300 to 400 hours of work. Yeah.
Nice.
And all the bricks I've used would be around, I don't know, I've calculated the bricks I used in one of my builds, the Link to the Past one, the finished one. I made a little teaser video about it. There is the number, and I forgot it. I think it was 300,000.
That's what I saw. Yeah, I was watching that video yesterday.
Yeah, okay. So all combined will be around... 600, let's say 750,000 blocks.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
But at least in Dragon Quest Builders 2, there's the whole make your own blueprint thing, and you didn't have to hand do every single one of those, right?
Yeah, not in the last build I did, but I only finished the Link to the Past map half in the Japanese version.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to complete the other half then in the Western version of Dragon Quest Builders 2. By hand.
Wow.
And also I had to collect all the materials, so
Mhm.
the villagers would build it for me.
So now that's separate blueprints for each section. Is that how you worked on that?
Yeah, it's like the blueprints I used are like 32 by 60 blocks.
Mm.
And like one area of A Link to the Past, the bigger ones, like the desert, those are like 64 by 64, and then I often had to use, depending on the height of the build, often like 3 blueprints for one of those areas. So I think I've used about 20 to 25 blueprints for the Link to the Past map to take it over from the Japanese version.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm assuming that's by far your longest build.
Yes, definitely. But it was also fun. It was a lot of work, but also fun. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
So what are maybe like your top 5 that you remember that having the most fun doing? Because you've got a lot of awesome builds on there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Wait, I need to open up my gallery.
You've done so much.
Yeah, we can cut that later. The pause now. So content, Dragon Quest Builder, screenshots. Let's see, all the works. So let's start with Dragon Quest Builders 1.
Sure.
So the one I'm most proud of would be a giant house I did. It's like you're a mouse in a giant house.
Oh, wow.
Rhyming. This one I was very proud of.
How did you do all the furniture?
Yeah, all out of blocks.
Oh,
So
okay.
like
Cool.
wood chair, like made out of 100 blocks or something.
Cool.
Stuff like that. So, but now this was the one. This was the one I was most proud of in Dragon Quest Builders 1, and also the Castle Town, of course. So in Dragon Quest Builders 2, there was one build I did in the demo in the Japanese version. It was called the Palace. God's Palace. It's a kind of a reminiscence to the one in the Dragon Ball. So like the gods floating. Wait, let me recollect. So the one in the demo was called God's Palace, and it was like a floating island, and it was inspired by the Dragon Ball. I always want to say Dragon Quest, but it's Dragon Ball. This one I really liked. This one with the pinkish sky. Then let's see. Of course, let's go to English version. I really like the Simpsons house.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, it's really hard to do because all the rooms you see in the cartoon don't really fit into the house.
Yes. Yeah, I saw.
Totally off.
They even referenced that in the show at one point. They're like, they had a rumpus room that or there's a certain room off the kitchen that I think disappears depending on what episode you're watching.
Yeah. So I must say, the Simpsons house was one of the most challenging ones to just get everything in there. So then we have, of course, the huge mansion build I did. This is my second biggest build I did, with the whole palace garden and everything. This I really like. And then, yeah, I think that's about it. And of course, the Link to the Past map. So if I would take it into a top 5, I would do place number 3 would be God's Palace. Place number 2 would be the Giant Mansion. And place number 1 would be the Link to the Past map.
Nice.
Those I'm most proud of.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, So I see you entered that in a contest. Is that one of the ones that they were doing like weekly?
I think monthly were they? Yeah.
Now, did you win any of those contests?
Some of them I won. Not with the Giant Mansion. I think I was too late. I entered it, I think, 1 week before it ended, and there was already 1 or 2 builds which were at the top. But I did manage to get on spot number 3, I believe. And then one time I also won with the Link to the Past build. It was about schools, but I thought maybe a Skyloft Academy above Hyrule. So people agreed. It seems like. And then the first build in the Western version of Dragon Quest Builders 2 in the demo, I also won. It was a little wooden house I did with all the materials on the island.
That's
so
cool.
A few.
Nice. Now, the Link to the Past map, you actually got a couple of articles were written about you.
Yes.
Based on that. So Kotaku, Nintendo Soup, Game Rant. Did they reach out to you at all for any information on it, or were they just authors who saw your videos, basically?
Honestly, I wrote with Jason Schreier about it, and I contacted him because I was like, wait, this is something. Maybe people want to see it. So I wrote Jason Schreier an email, yes, and he picked it up, said, oh, it looks awesome, okay, we will do something about it. And then Kotaku put it up, and basically all the other news sites just copied the article from Kotaku. No one,
Nice.
no one reached out to me other than Jason Schreier.
That's funny.
Because there were also some misinformations on other websites. They just put some additional stuff in there, and I'm like, wait, that's a lie.
And they probably made money off the ad revenue.
Yeah,
In the article too, which is kind of messed up.
All you got to do at the bottom is write source Kotaku, and there you go.
Yeah.
All copy from Kotaku. So that's a professional tip right here.
Yeah.
Wants to get published, give it to Kotaku.
Now you were able to change the color of the builder's suit to green from blue.
Yes.
Is that an in-game feature, or is that something you had done? I don't remember if you could change the color or not.
It depends. You have the Builder's Cap, which you can unlock in Dragon Quest Builders 2 by playing through the first couple of minutes in Dragon Quest Builders 1.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have an armor on, which has a green color, the cap also automatically changes. The cap automatically changes its color also to this color, so
awesome.
to green. Yeah, that was very, very good. So I even looked like Link a bit.
Cool.
At least from the back, not with the huge goggles over my forehead.
So, besides the Link to the Past, what's been your most popular build that you've seen in terms of I guess views on YouTube, people talking about it?
I think it's a 2-story house I did in Dragon Quest Builders 1. This was like the 3rd video I did on YouTube. So after the castle town kind of blew up, I did a little tutorial video on how to build a simple house, because people were asking in the comments, how did you do that? What blocks did you use? And so I made a little tutorial on a little house, which was very simple. Like, I think in real time, it only took me about 5 or 6 minutes. And then people really liked that. And so I thought, let's make a different one with a 2nd story. So I did this 2-story house, and this one even blew up more. So this is like the 2nd most watched video about Dragon Quest on my channel.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Your Animal Crossing stuff's gonna start taking over.
Yeah. One is already on spot number 2.
Yeah.
Nice. I've been seeing the Animal Crossing videos, and they actually, a lot of that reminds me of Builders.
Yeah,
In terms of like the way that the blocks or the land is very blocky, like almost like obviously Minecraft based, but also the way that Builders takes that and enhances some of the visuals.
Yeah, the way the game works, it also has some kind of grid where you can put stuff down. Of course, you don't have blocks and can't build houses, but you can decorate your houses to your heart's content, and that's really awesome. So you got a lot more items than in Dragon Quest Builders 2. I think 5,000 in total, and in Dragon Quest Builders, I think you had like 800 decorative items. So a lot more options.
Yeah, you get a lot more options with a game that sells 10 million copies than
Yeah. That's it.
When Nintendo can put their full weight behind that and pump out 10 million. I mean, I've even got my brother and sister-in-law, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, my wife was over there picking up something the other day, and she's like, they're asking about getting a Nintendo Switch, and they really want to play Animal Crossings while they're home, because they both work at Disney World and haven't been to work in about a month and a half now. And I'm like, yeah, they can't get a Nintendo Switch. They're all sold out everywhere.
Me neither. I finally got my wife into the idea of it, and we can't get one.
Yeah. It's Animal Crossing's fault.
I think it's the pandemic, everyone being at home.
Yeah, also, but the combination of both.
Yeah, having a major game like that drop right at that time too.
Right.
And you know that's that's one of those games like a Mario Kart or something, that you don't have to be a gamer to, oh man, I have good memories of this, or I want to sit down and play that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like The Sims or something.
Yeah.
I've heard already sold since its release 15 or 16 million copies.
Oh, I don't doubt it. My 10 million was like a total underestimate thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I even remember the GameCube version. I had friends who were like, "Oh, we have to be home at a certain time for this in-game event." They're planning their life around Animal Crossing. Specific kinds of events.
I know for I write for rpgamer.com, do game reviews for them, and they've got a couple different podcasts, but one that they've got a weekly one that talks about gaming news, and they always start off with about an hour of what the round table of about 5 or 6 people are playing. And gosh, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, about half of that round table has been, what are you doing on your island? What are you doing on your island? So, I mean, it's almost been as much as the Persona 5 or the Final Fantasy 7 remake discussion. Yeah. Even with these hardcore RPG fans that, Animal Crossing is still like, well, I had to split my time between Final Fantasy 7 and Animal Crossing this week. Or
I binge played through the Final Fantasy 7 when it came out, so I could get back to Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's putting 100 hours into the Final Fantasy 7 remake, but, they're dropping multiple hundreds on Animal Crossings.
Yeah, the people are now all close to 400 to 600 hours in Animal Crossing.
Wow.
Yeah, like all my friends on Discord, they're at 500 to 600.
Huh. The most I've ever plugged into one game is definitely Dragon Quest IX for the multiplayer. We used to do these weekly meetups in New York City and at Nintendo New York, and I logged over 1,000 hours based on that, just doing that for like 10 years. Or, not 10 years, but like however long the game came out 10 years ago. So we haven't met in almost a year. So it's I guess 8 or 9 years of playing multiplayer. You log that much.
So what's the time on your cart, do you think?
It's definitely above 1,200.
My!
Although I know that
I was expecting you to say like 300-400.
No. But RPG Wizard actually has like close to like probably over 2,000 hours logged, and then some. Wow. He actually revocated level 99 and revocated 10 times for like every single job class in that game. So, yep, we'll have to have him on. We'll have to have him on for the GP9 discussion.
Oh, so hey Ben, is there anything you tried to build that just didn't work out? Anything you've gone through and like, oh, I want to build this, and then just realized, no, this isn't working? Or is there anything that you've wanted to build but just haven't done yet?
Yeah, there are 2 things. I've started a church, a really huge church at one point, and I think it's about 3/4 finished. But I've never got around to it, because it was a bit too tedious for my taste. Because a church is every segment repeats itself. When you have to redo them or copy them over and stuff like that, I was kind of getting tired of it. So I stopped at one point. But maybe I'll pick it up at some point. I don't know yet. And
well, I mean, all those European cathedrals, they took them like 80 years to build, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only following their way of thinking.
Exactly.
And there was one project I wanted to do near the end of last year, and this was also a huge house where you're like the size of let me say an ant.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, but the problem is. If you want to lay down one wall alone, which will be like 200 blocks wide and 80 blocks high, it will take you roughly around 1 or 2 hours just to lay down a wall. And there was like, nah, Sorry. That's a bit too tedious for my taste. I mean, I like doing a very long building sessions and stuff, but not if it's always the same. If they would give you some kind of tool where you can just define the starting point and the end point of a wall, and then it would build the wall for you, then I would do it immediately. So maybe something like Builders 3.
I was gonna say that's a good question. Then moving into that, is there anything else you'd like to see implemented in like a Dragon Quest Builders 3 from the free build point of view? What would you?
I've made a full list. I think I got around 100 points of things I would like to see. But yeah, the first one would be like the thing I just talked about, like easier building. So you can just define something and it will build it for you. And also putting down a blueprint builds the house immediately, not letting all the villagers build it for you.
Yeah.
And maybe also rotate stuff on the Y-axis, so you can rotate it on its head and stuff like that.
Square
and
Enix,
maybe
are you getting
also
all this? If you're listening, Square Enix, are you getting all of this? All these notes?
Yeah. Please make notes.
Yeah.
And also, if it would be able to angle a house a bit, like a 45-degree angle.
Like if it were on a hill, or
maybe like this, but more like to the left or the right, like rotated by 45 degree.
Oh, okay.
So it's not all like a block, like more like a bit rotated.
Okay.
Those are the most important ones. And wait, if Square Enix is listening, please remove all the limits in the game. No villager limit, no block limit, no height limit. Everything gone, please.
All right, you've just officially made this a PlayStation 5 game now.
Maybe that's why they're waiting. They're waiting for the next console.
I know. I was just messaging someone yesterday, like something I was playing that was pretty battery draining on my Switch, and I'm like, it's not quite Dragon Quest Builders 2 level, but it's close. I could only play that game about like 2.5 hours a night on my Switch. It would burn through the battery.
Yeah, especially when you visit some islands where they build so much stuff and your frame rate dips into 2 frames per second.
Yeah, your stream, especially connected to the internet and all that too. Yeah, that was and then geez, I'd totally forgotten about it, Liam. I loaded it up last night on my Switch because we were going to do our little funny build-off, and gosh, it was 60, 70 seconds between the time I clicked on it for it to actually just load the main menu.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too last night. It was, I thought it was just because I hadn't played in so long, and it also, there was a game update, I think, that I needed.
Yeah, there was a game update for mine, but wow, I mean, even when I clicked it, I was like, okay, what's going on? And then I was like, oh yeah, I always remember.
Yeah. Not a good sign when you forget what game you're playing because of the loading screen.
Yeah.
But, you know, the fact that that thing ran as well as it did on the Switch, I put in my 75, 80 hours.
Was really good, I must say. It almost looked exactly like the PlayStation version. The PlayStation 4 version.
Nice. So a couple of last minute questions. Can we talk about building the toilet and everyone cheering and yelling solid? I know we've mentioned that a couple of times.
Want to build a toilet?
So there's one mission in Dragon Quest Builders 2 where you have to build a toilet. And you have to build a room with a bathroom basically with a toilet in it, and then everyone just runs up and like immediately one of the townsperson goes in and starts using it, and everybody in the village just like runs up and starts cheering, and one of them, they're yelling positive things, and one of them's like solid, which takes on a new meaning when you're talking about a toilet. And then they line up to use it, which is hilarious. There's just this massive long line for that one toilet in the village, which is probably what would happen in real life. But were there any other funny moments you can remember from the game?
I remember the moment I saw that they're using toilets in the game. I immediately started laughing out loud. That was awesome. What else? I really liked Brittany, the way she talked. Like, oh yeah, fam. Oh, you're the best. You're great this year. You're lit. I mean, And
Fantastic. You just got a full-on impression.
yeah, that's the voice I did for her on my streams.
Nice.
What other things? There was a few things I really liked, especially like the thing going on with Malroth and Lulu. Like,
Oh yeah, that back and forth was great.
they're in love, definitely.
I liked how Malroth
yes.
sucks at building. He can't.
Yeah.
He's tried
Every
like,
time
like,
he
"Oh, here,
tried
let
to
me
build,
try
it just like blows up.
That's awesome.
But,
I
and
did
so-
enjoy the third chapter in Dragon Quest Builders 1 when you've built you basically have to build a sauna. That's like one of the first things, and you got all those muscle men guys like relaxing in the sauna all day. And was it the one of them, or was they all kind of like they didn't want to fight? They're like, oh yeah, we'll go fight. Why don't you go first then? I think it may have just been one of the guys that was like really afraid to fight. He didn't want to do anything.
Right.
And they were all in love with the one woman you had to go rescue halfway around the world.
Wasn't she the leader of them?
Yeah, she was.
Barbarella or something?
Barbarella, that was it. Yep.
Yeah, she also returned in Dragon Quest Builders 2 in a DLC.
Nice.
Oh, did
That's-
she?
One thing I did in every chapter, in particularly in 1, was build my own room. Because the villagers always just come in and take whatever beds are occupied at night. So I would just build a room that I could only access via a ladder, because I noticed that the villagers don't climb ladders. So if there was stairs, they would just like hop up and just hop into my giant bed that I stole from a castle. My king's bed, my king size bed. They would hop into it, and then hey, you're in my room, sleeping in my bed. So I would actually just build this kind of secluded area within the castle or within my each village, so that I could have my own room. I don't know, maybe that's selfish.
Off your huge giant bed for yourself with a ladder.
Yeah, exactly. But there was something I think you could do. I think in the first one at least, you could build a sign that prevents people from going. Like, you could build a sign that's basically like, "This is my space," or whatever, my room.
Yeah, there are private room signs which you can put inside the room, not outside, which would look better, of course. But if you put them in, then it will only be for you if you write your name on it.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't end up doing that. I just built. I thought it would be cool to have my own room, but it's like a secret fort where you have to climb a ladder to get to it.
Like a blanket fort.
Yeah, exactly, like a blanket fort. Nice throwback to previous episodes.
There was the island in Dragon Quest Builder 2 with the mine. I felt like that one was one. There were so many villagers. No matter how many beds I built, there was never a free bed. There were plenty of times where I would walk up to a bed, destroy it, so someone would get up and walk away, and then I'd slap down a bed and jump right in it. I swear it's the only one in both games that I felt I had to do that on. But
yeah,
when you just all sleep straight up on the floor.
Mm-hmm. They did a lot to improve the physics for minecarts in this one too. I remember you could do minecarts in Builders 1, but in this one I've seen a bunch of videos where people built like full-on roller coasters, and not even ones with completed tracks, ones that like launch you in the air and like you land on another part of the track.
Oh, that's something I never did in Dragon Quest Builders 2. I never did where you could jump with your cart from one track to another. I never did that.
Well, I guess you'd have to kind of space out like how far the cart's going to go. Yeah. And it would take some experiments. There'd definitely be a couple of roller coaster accidents in the making.
Yeah. Definitely.
But a couple other things that were used to promote builders in general. So the New York Comic-Con, what year was that? 2016, New York Comic-Con had Dragon Quest Builders demo, and you could play the game. It was, I think, part of Cantlin, and I think you might have been able to defeat the Golem. I don't actually remember, but I do remember Mishi and Favorian were there, dressed as the builders. And they had merch there, which is cool. This is like one of the first Comic-Cons they actually had Dragon Quest merch at, so you could buy slime plushies there, amongst the massive amount of Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Of course.
Yes, of course. So it was really cool. It was one of the first cons in modern times to have Dragon Quest merch at it. And then I was at this was, I guess, probably 2018, when Dragon Quest Builders 2 came out in Japan. I was in Japan and went to Luida's bar, and they had Dragon Quest Builders themed desserts. And if we'll put these in the show notes and in the YouTube version as well. But if you actually go to our chat, Ben, you can see some of the builders desserts that I had posted earlier. One of them is a menu that shows you. They give you these little stackable slime cakes and this little kind of brownie hammer, where the hammer was actually made of Pocky, which is pretty cool. The handle of the hammer was Pocky. And they had these little cakes and these little sugary slimes, and you stacked them. You were supposed to build what was in the picture, but you could actually just build whatever you wanted, and do something completely different if you want. So they give you 2 plates, one with the little stackable slime cakes, and the other one had some kind of green sugary goo that was supposed to be grass, and you basically just build the dessert and then devour it, I guess. But that was pretty cool. And then the other one they had for builders as well, and I had to get both of them because you know they're limited time, so I had to get them. Was stackable. It was a cake puzzle, and it was the map of a left guard from the original Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest game, and they put the block pictures in different orders, and you have to pick them up with these kind of plastic chopsticks and place them in the order. And then it's funny because then the staff comes by and judges whether or not you did it correctly, and there was no real prize or anything. They just wanted to see if a gaijin did it properly. But it was a cool thing to do.
A true Dragon Quest fan.
Yeah, exactly. It was a cool thing to do and do it from memory and everything, and not need a guide for that one, just because that was the first game I played when I was 10 years old. So.
But I'll definitely visit that Dragon Quest Cafe when I'm back to Japan.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. If you're planning a trip, let me know. I'll give you the spiel for all the different places to go.
I've looked at your pictures before, and I know we've talked about it, but I don't think I ever noticed before, or maybe I haven't seen a picture of the menu. I like how the prices are listed in gold.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't say 1,980 yen. It says 1,980 gold.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
I did pay in yen. I didn't have any gold on me at the time.
Yeah, well, if you had some gold, there's probably a lot fewer pieces than that.
It'd be great to exchange your currency into gold.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe with the markets the way they've been, that might not be a bad idea right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just keep it at home and wait.
Yep.
So Ben, do you have any other projects you're working on in builders, or things that you're looking forward to building someday?
The only thing right now that's coming up is still working on the Link to the Past map, which I want to complete. Maybe even do all the dungeons. We'll see about that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that will be some work. Other than that, right now I'm totally fixated on Animal Crossing and building my island over there.
Cool.
Understandable. Yes, that. Seeing as like I said, I was looking at your channel and the views on those are skyrocketing.
Yeah, it's very, very well viewed right now, and I already put also 500 hours into Animal Crossing, so I think around 300 hours into the island. So it got more hours into it than Link to the Past right now. Which doesn't say much, but we'll see about that when I make a little tour over my island.
Nice. Yeah, you can advertise on the Animal Crossing stream. Just start talking about your Link to the Past builders map.
Yeah. exactly.
Do some cross promotion internally.
You guys wish you could build your own house instead of just modifying little pieces.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and if you like this island, also take a look at that other island.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is totally island based.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. Well, if you've hopefully the listeners, if you've liked what you've seen, go check out Ben's channel. Check out the Dragon Quest Builders Facebook group as well for additional pieces and all the folks there that building great stuff. And it's always amazing. I'm always inspired, not inspired to the point of being able to do something beyond dirt castles, but I'm always just looking on that channel and just say I'm always amazed by what we see. So thank you so much, Ben, for joining us to talk about the game today.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And there's one more thing I need to mention. That's the best addition they did to Dragon Quest Builders 2 is the notice board, where you can see all the builds of everyone and what they did. It's always perfect to get inspired for yourself, or like just taking a look at everything.
Nice.
Yeah, I know every time I logged on, there would be, you'd get that during like the loading screen too.
Yeah.
It's funny that talking about this has just kind of brought back so many memories of playing Dragon Quest Builders and little things I used to do, like carve a tunnel through a mountain to the edge of the water and build like a little fishing hut, or like just random stuff like that. Just like dig through a mountain and build a small house in the mountain, so that when I'm running away from these stupid ghosts at night, I can just like, I was like, oh wait a minute, I know I've got a mountainside fortress here, I can run in real quick and take a nap. That I wish I could do in real life.
Yeah,
that's another one of those
awesome.
things I wish.
Yeah, get that pickaxe out.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, there's too many people who would say, hey, you're on my land.
Yeah. I mean, you could also
we'll
try it with a hammer.
Yeah.
That might take you a little while.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. It was very nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, we will put the links to all of Ben's stuff, his YouTube, his Twitch, his Facebook, his Twitter, all in the show notes. So whatever podcast app you are listening to this on, just click on the notes, and you will have all the links there for that. All those things he's talking about, if you just search him up on YouTube, you'll find BenXC very quickly.
Yeah, I think you only have to search for Dragon Quest Builders on YouTube.
Almost everything I typed in Dragon Quest Builders or Dragon Quest Builders 2 and put like one other word there. Pretty much 3 out of the top 4 things were yours. So
yeah, like every second video right now.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, glad we could have you on then.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope you have a great day, morning or evening, everyone.
Depending on when you're listening to this.
So, bye.
Well, that is it for this episode of Slime Time. We want to thank Ben, of course, again for joining us and to talk about some of the Builders games and all his builds.
Thanks so much, Ben.
Thank you too. Bye.
You might have noticed that the only time we mention that Patreon on our stream is when we say we don't use it. We're just longtime fans that want to speak about the game series we know and love so much. If you have money you would like to donate, consider sliding on over to the Dragon's Den at www.woodus.com/den and click support this site. Woodus has owned and maintained the Dragon's Den fan site for over 20 years, and I'm sure he'd appreciate any donation. Or if you don't want to do it directly, use his Amazon affiliate links. Make some purchases. Buy Dragon Quest Builders 2 for the Switch or 1 for the Switch. Any of the other games we've talked about in our other podcasts that are still on Amazon, he's pretty much got an affiliate link to it. And of course, a small fraction of the sale will then go to help support the Den.
And if you're an advertiser and you're looking for a cool new podcast to spend lots of ad revenue on, reach out to us at slimetimepodcast@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments for us, you can find us on Twitter at Plattym3 or at Riamu Celestrian, or hit both of us up simultaneously at DQ Slime Time.
Also, consider joining in tons of Dragon Quest discussions at the Dragon's Den forums, one of the few remaining forums still around the internet. Find it from the Dragon's Den main page or at www.woodus.com/forums. I know I'm always there, crazily posting, keeping people up to date on what I'm playing, and there's a hardcore group of people that are doing that. I know our Dragon Quest X forums are always busy with mainly Westerners that are playing the game. And we'd like to, of course, thank everyone that made this podcast possible, like Brian, a.k.a. Woodus, for his support of the series and this podcast, and for keeping Dragon's Den's lights on for decades now.
Thanks to Amanda Lepre and the Descendants of Erdrick for allowing us to use their music for our podcast. Descendants of Erdrick is a video game tribute band from Austin, Texas. If you like what you've heard, check them out in their most recent album, Advent, at www.descendantsoferdrick.com or on Twitter at @doferdrick. Or when all this Corona craziness is over, go see their band leader Amanda Lepre on live on tour as a guitarist with Andrew WK.
As always, our thanks to Dwayne Bullock, our wonderful graphic artist / Dragon Quest fan, for making the awesome artwork cover for this podcast. Dwayne was on the original iterations of the Slime Time podcast and on, I think, 3 of our other episodes now. So you can hear a lot of his jokes and on with us, or you can check out more of his artwork at Dwayne Art on Instagram or his website, dwaynebullocart.bigcartel.com.
That's right. Yeah, he was actually on our last episode, the ballet, Dragon Quest ballet episode that we did, and he's also graciously allowed us to use his Slime Time artwork for T-shirts that will be coming soon.
Yes.
Proceeds all go to support the den. So if you're looking for more Dragon Quest podcast, check out the earlier episodes on Dragon's Den, Anchor FM, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Please also check out our fellow Dragon Quest podcasts available like Puff Puff Hour and Dragon Quest FM.
Bye, everyone.
DQ Slime Time, sliming off.